Afrofish OG. For the record, I made that myself.
I know, I was gonna say that's really cool. I was like, oh, we get a movie.
Like, it started off. Okay, so I made it on, like, I had someone make the original, like, motions and all the videos and stuff on Fiverr.
Yeah.
But I can't use the actual, like, music that I wanted to, so I had to, like, research the music and, like, get everything down to a T. It's a lot of work.
Yeah.
But what is up, everyone? I have a very special edition of Afro and the Scorp. Unfortunately, Black Scorpio is not here today. What a loser. Just kidding. Like, don't. I only said that because, you know, he's my friend and I care about that dude a lot. But we have Dsaurs here today again, back. How are you doing?
I'm good. You have to make do with me today.
Oh, well, it's still good. It's still good. I mean, they have to make do with me, and I was like, you know, I thought it was a good idea to start a podcast, but today we have a very RPG heavy edition of Afro and the Scorp. It's kind of just going over a couple of, like, big games and, like, just in general games that would be really fun, maybe just in the future, because I know there's a big possibility of, like, starting off with a game like Mass Effect. Fantastic games. I love talking about I can talk about Mass Effect all day. There's so much to talk about.
Yep.
Right off the top of your head, favorite characters?
Garrus.
Yeah.
Thane.
Mm-hmm.
Garrus, Thane, and Liara, I would say.
Garrus, Thane, and Liara. Okay. Yeah. I can feel that. I would go. Oh, that's really tough. Now I should think about it a little bit more. It's like, I think I'd probably have to go Morton.
Morden, yeah, he was pretty good.
I love Rex.
Rex, yeah. If you keep him alive, yeah.
Oh yeah, you should keep him alive. There's no reason to not keep him alive. Just for everyone else to know too, we're gonna be delving into, like, spoilers through, like, all the different games and such.
Yeah.
So what's up, you two flamingo-tastic people? I love that. The flamingo-tastic. It's going good. I hope you're doing great, Flamingo. Oh my gosh, my eyes. But, like, so much more tired than I thought of.
Please don't die.
Oh no, it'll be perfectly fine. I got water, so we're all good. But no, I loved. I think my third one I'd have to choose would probably be Tally. Like,
oh yeah,
I like Tally. I don't know if she is, like, she's probably one of my favorites on there. I know she's the one that, like, I romanced, like, all the time whenever I play 2 and 3.
Yeah, she does have a really good story that goes through the whole 3 games, and it can end very tragically through certain.
Oh no, exactly.
I don't know. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it is really gut wrenching if you let that happen in the 3rd game.
Well, and that's what's crazy, I think, too. Like, getting into just Mass Effect itself is, like, you know, each one of, obviously, since each one of the games are connected, except for Andromeda. Each like, it's, you know, with all 3 of them, and I think that's the fun part with, like, Tally's whole story is it actually goes through all 3 of the games. So if you're kind of just not careful with, like, the words you say, it's kind of it ends really poorly.
Yeah.
It kind of sucks because, like, I ended up losing her in Mass Effect 3, and I was like, oh.
So you saw the scene.
Yeah. So, like, I just stopped playing and restarted. It's like, no, where did I go wrong? Also, I'm actually a little bummed. Scorp, like I said, Scorp's not here, but he was talking to me about how he was playing Mass Effect, and he got, like, 4 of his characters offed in the suicide mission, and I'm like, bro, I told you what to do. Like, he's like, oh, I did. I'm like, it's common. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, maybe because I played it enough. But, like, the I don't know if I can say that word. Oh, but, like, the bad mission.
You can say it.
The suicide mission. That's what it's called. That's what it's called.
They literally call it the suicide mission.
Yeah. So, I know in that one, like, when you start to put a little bit of common sense into it, it may, like, you know, it's like, oh, like, who would I put in the tunnel?
Yeah, and they say, like, pick the best person, and it's quite the descriptions are quite easy to be like, oh, this person's going to do a tech thing, so I'll have Tali do this or whatever.
Right. So it's like, um, it never made sense why it was difficult. Although I will say though, you like that one too. I loved is like I actually I don't know. I never like, got an achievement for it, but I like when I was playing it back in like when it came out in like
Mm.
2000,
Yeah, I did as
I
well.
think I mined every single planet.
I think I
Like
did as
I,
well.
I didn't know. I was like, I don't know if I need to, but I'm going to do this. And so like
Yeah,
I did. And by the time I was like, I sit there and I think about it now, and like, there's no reason you didn't need to do this. Like,
I think I played 1 and 2 on Xbox 360, and then when 3 came out, that was kind of when I started PC gaming.
mm,
So that was my first PC one. But I recently went through them all again when the Legendary Edition came out,
mm.
and when I got to 2, I don't remember the mining being so laborious. I downloaded a mod. I think it was called like mine everything or something. All you need to do is fire one fucking probe and it just mines everything instead of going around the planet like, oh, here's something, and then doing it again.
That's see, like I think I wish I would have thought of that, but like I, the thing like at the time I was so determined because I didn't know if there was something to do, and then
Mm,
like there was no, I don't think there was even an achievement or nothing. I just did it.
yeah.
It's like by the time I was done, I was like, well, now I kind of just feel like a tyrant. It's like there's no like minerals left on these planets.
Just exhausted the whole of the
And I'm
galaxy.
like, I don't even know how like my ship is flying right now because this should do like just like it's literally falling in space. Like so I it's funny because like going through each of the three games, there's always that one. There was actually a dude on TikTok who I think he made a video. It was about the game Persona, but it was or
Mm,
no, I don't remember if it was about Persona or not, but like I think I made one about Persona, but it was when you have to go through like that mission or that part of the story.
yeah.
And I was like, to me, that's like every in the first one, it's like every time I had used like the Mako.
Yeah. Oh,
Like
yeah.
because I know they in the legendary like edition they tried to do better with it,
They did. They
but
really, really did. Yeah.
it's still not fun.
I did.
Like
I mean, I liked them because you had all these different planets. I mean, some of them were quite similar, but you could just poot around in your little thing, just like, and trying to go up really steep mountains
The
and
next time I play, I'm just gonna do
failing.
that. Like, what I love too is like when you like drive and then you start like fly, you try to jump, but it's like
Yeah,
as if like you're like a sponge. You just whoop, there I go. Like, I'm like, I guess I just don't know how physics work.
but especially in the Legendary Edition, when obviously they upped the graphics a bit, I did find myself doing what I used to do when I first played that game, doing the Mako missions, just kind of stopping and looking up to the sky. I remember there was one asteroid or something, or planet
Mm.
or moon or something that you land on, and just the whole background in the sky was just absolutely beautiful. And I remember the first time playing it, just sitting there in the Mako, like, wow. And I did that again in the Legendary Edition because I don't know, it just brought back all of those memories.
That's fair. Like like as much as I despised it so much, and I think honestly I still have like trauma flashbacks of the 360 version.
Yeah, yeah, it wasn't
Like
great.
it was yeah, because it was funny because even before the right before the Legendary Collection came out, I was like, oh well, I'm just gonna play one more time on the 361, and I was like, I'm never doing this
Yeah,
again.
don't do that.
Like, I've made some terrible decisions, but
Yeah,
the story is
there's
still
a
really
reason
fun.
they remastered.
Like
Yeah, like, oh, there aren't many games that can really suck me into a story as well as the Mass Effect trilogy did. Like
mm,
even like every single little codex, I was reading it, and they even had for the major ones the little narrator, like the the cannon on this ship does this thing, and it was made by the humans in.
right.
Du-du-du-du-du. I read through all of those. I knew everything about the story back then.
Well, that's
Um,
awesome.
and just talking to every single person that can be spoken to. Yeah.
No, and that's the thing. Like with the first one, especially, you could definitely tell they wanted to be like as expansive as possible.
Mm.
And I think, story wise, it just makes it so much fun. Every planet you go to feels very unique, and there's so much to it. I think one of my favorite aspects of it was learning about like the different kind of aliens, because there's like what, 8, 9 different kind of aliens,
Yeah.
just that you interact with.
Yeah.
And I really do wish that we would have gotten more. Um, like I really wish we would have gotten more, to be honest. Like, or
Yeah.
even just had more used in game. Because there's like one of my favorite ones are the ones that have to, like, I forgot what they're called, but they have to like express what their emotion is, because
Oh,
they can't show it.
was it Elcor?
I think so. Like they're just like, they look like almost, I don't know, I say like elephants, but like
Yeah,
that's
but
what it
they're all like,
remind me of.
"Ooh,
Yeah, like
distastefully,
flabbergasted.
you
But
suck."
yeah, they remind me of like I don't know if you remember like someone like Ben Stein, who was just like, he was just like this dude who would just like the whole time he'd talk like this. He's in like Ferris Bueller's Day Off. God, I feel so old right now. But yeah, like it's just he always monotone. Maybe that's what they kind of base it off of, or like the ones that look like bubblegum, and they're just like, this one is selling
um,
like
fuck, what are they called?
they're just the Mass Effect version of Kashyyyk.
Oh, I can't
This
remember what
one
they're
have
called. Yeah.
wear if you have coin. Like so
Mm,
so
yeah.
like the story makes me feel like I'm sucked into it when I use my. I mean,
Yeah.
that's fair, super fair.
It like
Um,
the world building they do sucks you into it so much that you just, yeah, you feel like you are
mhm.
actually Commander Shepard kicking ass throughout the galaxy.
Oh yeah, and I remember I played it, like I played it twice, because I played once as a male shepherd and then once as a female shepherd, because I
Yeah.
wanted to see like if there's gonna be like a lot of changes, which there's really not. There's just like a couple dialogue changes here and there.
It's just more about I think the voice actors deliver their lines a bit differently.
Yeah, I think Jennifer Hale, who did the female shepherd,
Oh, she did such a good job, yeah.
yeah, like I like them both, but there is moments where like the male shepherd kind of comes off as a bit monotone,
Yeah, I have noticed that as well.
and like she's just a little more express, and that little bit more expressive is enough to
Mm.
kind of just push it over the edge. Um,
My
and
I
that's
think my favorite is "You big stupid jellyfish."
I think my favorite is when you're in, it's the Lair of the Shadow Broker DLC.
Oh shit,
And
yeah.
I like them both. I love them both in the scene. But when you're flying and they're like, she's like, Lara's like, you need to drive faster. He's like, I am. Like, I love that. I love that, like that kind of
Oh,
connection between the characters.
yeah.
And I kind
Did
of wish
you
more of.
did you play the Citadel DLC for the third one?
No, I haven't.
So
Oh, you can go right
it's
ahead.
it's
Yeah.
kind of like an addition to like the end game, but
Mhm.
before the ending mission, where you do this whole mission where there's a clone of Commander Shepard that's like run loose in the Citadel.
Oh boy.
And it kind of, yeah, it kind of starts out as almost like detective work of trying to find like what's happening. And it goes like really like cool underground. You're left on your own, trying to fend for yourself, kind of thing. And you
Hmm.
have to go through this whole thing. I won't spoil it much for people, but at the end, there's a party that you can throw in your house on the Citadel, which you invite all of your companions to,
Hmm.
the ones that are still alive. Um,
Oof.
and it's so funny, and it's just such a nice way of kind of like ending the game to have that little
That's awesome.
goodbye moment with your party before the final mission.
I mean, I'm just saying, I would totally jam out, get a couple drinks going right before those, like,
Yeah,
Reapers
of
start coming
course.
through, start shooting, and like,
Right, we're all gonna fucking die. Might
yeah,
as well
right.
go out drunk.
I'm going out like a champion. Like, no, and
Hold my beer.
I can't wait till he invites Kai Lang too, because that guy was.
He he was such a shit villain. I'm sorry,
He's so,
but
the thing is, like, I know he came in from like a comic,
yeah,
but it's weird because the comic came in after the game, so like you just get this random ninja out of nowhere.
like
He's like the Kylo Ren of like the Mass Effect.
they could have done something because he was just someone random there. Like if maybe like that was Commander Shepard's clone or something, that would have been really cool.
Oh yeah.
Because, you know, Shepard got rebuilt by Cerberus, and they always knew that he might not completely agree with everything, so they could have made like a separate one. Because I remember Miranda saying something like, "No, keep their memories. We want them as they are." And they could have made a separate version that maybe like didn't work out, where they placated them to keep them, to keep them doing
Right.
what they want to do, and that could have been Kai Lang.
Well, I know it would be interesting because, like, at maybe like put at the end of 2 or something,
Yeah.
because Miranda did mention that she wanted to put a chip in his head to
Yeah.
make sure that they can control him, and so
Mm.
maybe after he leaves, that Kai Lang is the one with the chip in his head. So like the whole time you see like another Shepard in 3, and that's part of the mission.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, at some point this Shepard's like, no, I'm the real Commander Shepard, and he's just starts like short circuiting, or let's say even he's slightly infused because with the Reaper tech.
Reaper tech, yeah.
And
That
so
would have been such a better story.
it was kind of horrifying now I start thinking about it. Like a Shepard that's being succumb to the Reapers.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, granted, I guess I would be kind of like just doing the whole Saren thing again, but so
yeah, but Kai Lang wasn't the main villain, so still keeping the Kai Lang character as like the evil Shepard clone. So they're not a massive part of the story. I think in that sense it wouldn't come across as being like Saren.
Right. No, that's true. Like the thing is so funny with it too is because like I love so much about it, and I love the elusive man. Like Martin Sheen played him beautifully, but then he just has some really terrible ideas that you're just like, I don't know why anybody follows this guy. like we're all for pro humanity, and I'm like, yeah, that's good. Humanity's gonna sit at the top of what?
Yeah.
Like you do realize that none of us can just blow, like Dsaurs could just blow your minds up.
Oh yeah.
Like none of you guys are being able to have the firepower to stop the Krogans. Like I was like, I don't think you realize that it's not working the way you think it is, bud.
Yeah.
But like every time he was on screen, like he just takes away from anybody else. Like just sitting in that chair, and I was like, bro, this guy's like literally has the embodiment of just sitting there like with a meta quest on his face.
Yeah.
Just staring at nothing.
Like, with his little whiskey and his cigar.
Oh yeah.
Like, so Shepard.
It is like, we got a new mission for you, and I'm like, okay, cool. And it's funny because like whenever I watch TV and I see like Martin Sheen and like anything else, he's this older, chunkier dude, and I'm like, you're a villain.
You're a naughty man.
Like, well, then like actually speaking with like some of the characters too, because as you go through, especially through like the first one, Saren was super fun as a villain.
Sorry.
No.
One of the cats just did something. I don't know what it is, but something loud happened.
Oh shit.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Yeah. Cats, huh?
That's fair.
Yes, Saren was probably my absolute favorite villain of that series, and the elusive man, but I didn't really care much about the Reapers. They were just something else in the background.
No, exactly.
But yeah, Saren was great. Just how he progressively started to become more evil and more like into the Reapers.
Well, and I loved too is like the fact that like the more you talk, and this is something that was brought up with when I was talking with Techno, who's another guy, but like he mentioned, he's like, the thing that's interesting is every time you actually make sense in his head and he can see it, but then as soon as he does, he it's like the indoctrination kicks in.
Yeah.
And so it is kind of sad in that way. Cat villain. He's like he's not a cat. Shit, what is? I mean, he's kind of like a cat.
The like Tyrians are kind of.
Like
they do have cat-like features, even though they're kind of lizardy.
Raptors, aren't they? Like cat raptors.
Yeah.
But and I loved Saren. The only thing I would say a knock is I wish we would have got to know Matriarch Venezia more.
Was that
That was
Liara's
yeah, that's
mum?
Liara's mom.
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Um,
you had to kill her like as soon as you meet her. Like, hey,
right.
Liara's mum, sorry, we're gonna kill
Well,
you.
you
Bye.
know, something that actually really interesting too, and I didn't just thought of this off the top of my head. So in the second one, because they always kind of hail up like the matriarchs. You know what I mean? They always try to hail up the matriarchs as like this really high. Oh, thanks for the follow. This really high up like beings or whatever, and then you meet a matriarch, and she's like working at a bar, and
Yeah.
it's just
Oh
like
shit, I
you kind
remember
of
that. You're
realize that
like,
like
dude, what? What are you
yeah, and you're
doing?
like, oh shit. I guess the whole maybe the matriarch part actually doesn't matter the same way that it's like in one how much it was propped up.
Yeah.
Oh no, sorry, Hammett, what Dsaurs said about the cat.
Oh,
Just
what was that?
what Flamingo was talking about about the cat, just like
Oh.
sitting in the back being like, take time away from me, huh? Like,
Yeah.
but no, like, and that's the thing was like, I thought that was really interesting. Like
Mm.
the way that the matriarch was talking about how it was like, oh, this big hail up, like when you're a matriarch, you're on the highest thing, and then I got this one like making me drinks, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, I mean, I guess I think she does mention something how like just being a matriarch doesn't like basically pay bills.
Yeah. I can't remember what her whole story was behind.
It,
She was someone important's mum or something,
something like
or
that.
in their thing, she was technically the dad or something. I can't remember, but I don't remember who it was because there was a whole mission around it, wasn't
Hmm.
there?
Yeah, and like with like I know with Liara with matriarch, because Liara I think was the product of two
Sorry.
Asaris, which is
Yeah,
frowned upon.
yeah, she was a pure blood.
Yeah, and they're like, no, we must mix with other ones to enhance our race.
Yeah.
Um, and then it always makes me interested too because that was the whole thing with what was it? There's those three guys, and there's three guys at the bar, and then there's the Asari, and they each see
Yeah.
something different.
Yeah.
And I
I
thought that
remember
was
that.
like it's that kind of little bit of world building that I think is just amazing.
Mhm.
Because like I was like, oh no, she's a Turian, no, she's a Solarian, and I'm like,
Like, what?
what the
She's a
fuck?
human. Looks
Yeah, and
looks
I'm
like a
like,
human.
holy shit, I'm seeing it through the eyes of a human.
Yeah.
Like my brain like had an explosion, and I was like, yeah, but then what if like that's great, that works, except for the fact that what if it's a Krogan? Do they see her as like another Krogan?
Yeah,
What about
probably.
the elephant looking ones? Did they see her as like one of the other ones? Like what about the fucking jelly putty thing? Like, I can't remember the name of it, so I'm just gonna go with like bubblegum until like I figure out exactly what they're called.
What the fuck are the I
Oh,
used to know all of them. I can't remember what the jellyfish are called.
like oh, I'm actually looking it up because it's actually bothering me a little
It's
bit.
gonna annoy me when you tell me.
Alien species. All nine. There's 9 species of aliens.
Just type Mass Effect jellyfish.
Oh, gang! I had it. I think I have it ranked. There's the Drell, Elcor. Okay, so the Elcor. Oh, the big like.
The
Oh, the Hanar.
Hanar, that's it.
Yeah, because they're the ones who I believe have
They love
the
the
Drell.
Kindlers. Yeah, they've
Yeah,
got them as like basically a slave species.
yeah. I mean, what a surprise! Which is really
Mm.
weird to me because like the Drell are like, we need water to survive, and they're like, well,
Come
but the
to our come to our planet that's just
yeah,
water.
like please do because if you think about it, we can just recreate Atlantis.
Mm.
Like, so like, I mean, like we're allowing a bunch of fish people here. Yup.
Yeah, but then they get that disease, don't they, from the humidity
Oh yeah,
that
that's right.
Thane is dying from.
Yeah, there's really like a no-win situation. I mean, could they be up in like the poles, like the North or South Pole? Or
Uh,
I don't know. Like I feel like I mean I'm trying to help out a fictional race, but I'm like, just figure it out. No, like,
yeah.
but
I
yeah,
think
and I
like all of this just goes to show the world building that they did in that and making you actually listen to it, take note of it, and care about it. The
mhm.
fact that we can just talk about a space illness from a species that was enslaved by another species, and yeah.
No, exactly. And I think too, like giving the game certain choices and stuff. Like I loved
Mm.
like, in the beginning, one of the first ones is like what to do with the what is it, with the one governor's like wife's body because she died or whatever, and they're like, oh well, she has.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, this is in the beginning of one. This is right when you get on the Citadel. There's a dude who's like, oh, I forgot what the guy's name is, but he said that if we take his wife's body, we can actually study it, and we might be able to turn the alien,
Oh,
like find out what they're using for weaponry.
I think,
But
yeah, kind of remember that.
it's like
Yeah.
a moral thing because he's like, no, let me take her back to Earth so she can be
Mm.
buried properly. And so it's like a moral thing versus like what possibly could be. And there's like a no-win situation really, but personally, I love that.
Yeah.
I love that kind of interaction. I think that's really, really cool. And so I was like, okay, well, more of the events would be like that. And on the Citadel, they are. There's a
Yeah.
mission about like a girl who has a baby or whatever, and like so they're trying to figure out like I think it's like more like a lineage kind of thing between her and her brother. I think the baby's
Yeah.
not the baby's not between her and her brother, but like but
It's space. Anything
yeah,
goes.
right. It's space Kentucky, but like it's
Space
like
incest.
I don't think that. Yeah, we don't. Space inside, like it's only weird if you make it weird. But like I will say though, in 2 and 3, this is one thing that is my only real knock on 2 and 3, is that because they went for the more action oriented style, I felt like I kind of
Yeah.
lost some of that
Yeah.
um
Definitely.
exploration part because like I loved exploring the whole Citadel. It is huge, but in 2 and 3, there's not much to explore,
Yeah. I
and
mean, there was still enough narratively, but there was significantly less. And especially with 3 was just explosions, action, which I kind of understand. It's the ending of this massive story that's been building up over 3 games. And I think some of the characters really did start to like come out of their shells, like Caden or Ashley. In
mm,
3, you really got to, I don't know, properly. Yeah, my phone made me jump. But yeah, you really, really got to see kind of their character arcs a lot, and then with whoever is your love interest, it really starts to bloom in the third one.
no,
But
exactly.
there were so many plots that didn't really go anywhere. Like, do you remember the whole dark energy thing that kind of cropped up? I think it may have cropped up in the first one and then came into the second one, or it cropped up in the second one. But it was something about like what the Geth were doing with a sun that was
Mm,
like how there was a sun that was meant to be blowing up or something.
mhm.
And they were saying that it was about this dark energy, and it crops up again, but then it's never spoken of ever again.
No, yeah, that's kind of a yeah. I don't remember that one too much. Like, I think another one kind of similar to that is like the what is it, Exogeny? I felt
Yeah.
like there's. I don't really honestly. I mean, maybe I'll have to go back to go really dig in again, but I don't remember much at all after that. I wish we would have learned a little more about like if they were able to work on with the Thorian, you know,
Yeah.
but we never really got anything like that. And so, because the Thorian to me, I thought was so interesting.
That was, yeah, because
And
that was
then
that whole planet that got infected
yeah, and
by
it's
it.
like, oh, where did it come from? And it's just like, we're just not going to talk about it anymore.
Yeah, it's just a thing that happened.
I'm like, oh, okay. Also, I'll say like Matriarch Benezia's fight is super lackluster.
Mhm.
Um, it's the one of the issues is like I had it with especially with the first one, not too bad anymore now that like the Legendary Collection came out.
Yeah.
But I did notice it with the second and the third is that I'm not a fan of like bullet sponges.
Mm-mm.
I'm not a fan of that at all. And so it like especially the collectors did kind of feel like that.
Oh God, yeah.
The collectors are super interesting, like lore wise. When you start learning about them and stuff, I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
that's so cool. Um,
And like they only look the way they do because they were Protheans before, whereas collectors from other species look different.
oh, I know exactly,
Yeah.
and that's what I loved. with like the collect and the fact that like they didn't like they people knew about them.
Mm,
I thought that was interesting. Like people knew about them. They just showed up and they were like, "Hey, we're gonna buy a bunch of like all this stuff." They'd spend whatever it costs to get it,
yeah.
and then they're just like, "Okay," and then just dip off. And I was like, "Okay, that sounds kind of dope." Like that's like there's this air of mystery around it. And
Yeah.
I am the only thing I'm really bummed is that they don't. I don't know if they talk about the collectors when they have Javik. Because could you imagine them having like a dead collector and him seeing what was left of his people?
I think he does mention it.
I'd hope
I
so.
can't remember
Yeah,
exactly what he says.
because that would be beyond like. I think he was also super interesting. I'm not gonna lie,
Mm,
him being in there felt
yeah.
super interesting. If not, like I don't really think he should have been a DLC character ever.
No, definitely not.
There's no reason for him being a DLC because he feels so like crucial.
Yeah, like, it's a completely different perspective that we haven't had throughout the whole game.
Like
Like, Protheans were just this mystery that we had no idea about, and then suddenly here's a fucking like the last remaining Prothean.
oh yeah.
I
Well,
love how Liara just like fangirls over him. She's like, "Oh, I've got so many questions to ask you," and he's just like, "Fuck off." Like,
yeah.
when I knew your species, you were like fish.
Yeah, hey, and that's I love that what he said about the Solarians, like they can
Yeah.
talk, like it's amazing. Yeah,
He's like,
it's
you when I knew your species, you used to eat bugs."
yeah, like, and I'll tell you that's one thing that I kind of wish as well. Hey, Scorpio, glad to see you can make it. The one thing I kind of wish a little bit more is there was more interaction between him and Liara because, like, I'm
Mm,
not gonna lie, like her finding out that her goddess that they've been hailing has actually just been
yeah.
Protheans
Yeah, and
the
they
entire time.
enlightened them, didn't they? They gave them
Yeah,
technology. The
yeah.
Hanar as well. They who they call the Enkindlers were actually the Protheans because they did the same to them.
And like
Yeah.
so it actually like turned out that like nothing of it was what they thought.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that she went into like maybe even there's a part of until like let's say you do like a big major mission,
Mm.
she actually doesn't come onto your ship or nothing. I
Mm.
think that would have been really interesting that she's like because I mean I could only imagine that like your god is just like yeah it's just another one of us like I don't we're not really not you guys aren't that special.
Oh, the god that came to your planet. Oh, that was just Jeff.
Yeah, right.
He
It's
did that all the
like,
time. Yeah.
yeah, and so like it's just like oh okay like that would be I don't know about you but that would break my whole psyche
Yeah.
like
Oh yeah. I would just
because
disintegrate
but
just on
then
the
they're
spot.
just
Like,
like
oh,
oh
okay.
okay well that's fine. Also I loved this is like kind of bouncing into three is actually like Edie. Like
Edie.
Edie
Yeah.
getting sentience was actually kind of fun and also kind of horrifying. Uh
Yeah. And
like
yeah, when she got the body as well, and
and like it was a Joker's just like, dude.
I am hitting that.
Yeah. Like and then like, you know, Shepard's just like, yeah, I don't want to hear that from you, brittle bitch. And so like but it's cool because Joker will be in, you know, the next Family Guy episode. So like the fact that Seth Green plays him always cracks me up. But I just you know, like Edie's was really interesting. And I loved the fact too that like I forgot if it's I think it's her and Javik. And you can hear throughout two when she starts versus later on and how she starts talking from monotone to like actually having emotions, getting upset.
Making jokes.
Right.
Yeah.
And I thought that was really yeah, and then Joker just being like, bro, I'm gonna excuse
Gonna
me.
get gonna get some robot puss.
Yeah, right. Like and then didn't he have to become a robot too? Because let's say like that is ain't working.
No,
Like,
I don't think
I
he did.
remember.
No.
I think that'd have been hilarious. I think that'd have been a funny like a joke ending. Like, just seeing him in the wheelchair. Like, I mean,
Uh,
I I will say like one of the best. I mean, and I've been talking about it too because it's really funny. So I wanted to go into Baldur's Gate a bit as well.
ooh, yeah.
Because that's a kind of a big one. But there's one thing I wanted to say, and I was comparing Garrus because I was like, oh yeah, Garrus is your bro. Garrus is like, he's your bro, Garrus. And I'm like,
Yeah.
so I'm playing Baldur's Gate, and I'm like, oh shit, that's Karlach.
Yeah.
Like, Karlach is just like the bro character, and I'm like,
Carla, yeah, definitely.
she's
She's got your
like,
back all the time. She
oh
makes
yeah,
witty jokes. She's a
she's
badass.
she's like a combination of like Garrus and Rex. Like, like
Yeah.
Rex is like, you just gonna jump right in, and it's just gonna fuck shit up.
Yeah. But
Because,
then, like, the little sensitive side as well that
yeah,
Garrus kind of has at points.
oh yeah, and then Garrus. Although I wish there was a little more to him in 2 and 3. Him kind of going down this like renegade part
Yeah.
was kind of cool.
I think his renegade part, he becomes a spectre, doesn't he?
Yeah, which makes sense. I mean, it makes sense that he would become a Spectre.
Yeah. Whereas in the
Um,
Paragon path, I think it's even like somebody even mentions that he's just living in Shepard's shadow, but then
mm,
he just says that he's okay with that.
which kind of bummed me out because I think he should have been a Spectre either way.
Oh yeah,
Um,
definitely. I don't think that should have been his renegade path.
no, I don't think so either. I think what's really funny is like some of like even characters like Jack. Like one of my favorite parts is it's the fan expectation versus reality.
Yeah.
Like when you see her like boom just blowing up the robots, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. Then you play as her and you're like,
Yeah, when you actually get into battle, she has that pistol like pew pew pew.
yeah, and I'm like, this is fine. Like I'd always make sure I use like Shockwave or something like that with her because
Yeah.
she can get really like really powerful.
Yeah, I was always, what was it, a Vanguard that has that? I
Mm,
think it's a Vanguard. Yeah.
especially
Shotguns and
in 3. Because like 3, it's like the use charge, and then you use like Nova, and you
Yeah.
like shoot,
Yeah.
use charge. Like it's I'm like, I don't know if they realized when they were making this how broken this is.
Yeah. It was hard being a Vanguard on the hardest difficulty. I liked to play it on the hardest difficulty because the games were so easy.
Mm.
Like so damn easy. In 1, I just got to a point where in hard, like I was just nothing could hit me, and I was just like pew, 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 dead, 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 dead. 2 was a bit harder for normal battles in insane difficulty, but still it was doable. I don't think I ever died until like there were 2 fights, and I can't remember one of them, but there was one fight where you go into like this courtyard, and there's like the ones that kind of like explode,
Mm-hmm.
but there were like loads of them and loads of the hordes coming from all angles, and I just remember having to do that like 10 times.
No, that's fair. Like I've never played it on like Insanity. I know like Scorpio does. He does that. He just plays it up, cranks it up on the hardest difficulty.
It is really fun. You should try it if you're going to
I
play through
might.
again.
There's some games maybe I will. Some games I just won't.
Yeah.
Doom is one I won't do that with. Like, like but I overall like. It's funny because like when I think of also Mass Effect 2, one thing I forgot to mention is the side missions that do really kick in. I thought were awesome. Like when you go to
Yeah.
Earth and you have to disable the turrets.
Yeah.
And you find out there's so much more to it. It's like a whole VR system, and then you realize I believe it's it's that one dude, like the dude and his brother or whatever. And he's got the tubes in his mouth, and they tried making him like a whole like VR with like or connect with the guest.
Shit. Yeah. That was like Project something.
Yeah, and that one's really sad too.
That was really sad. Yeah.
Like I think because his brother, I believe, dies. I believe his brother dies.
I can't remember how he dies, but yeah, he dies. And
Yeah.
you can either save the guy who's getting all brain killed, or
Mm,
you can either save him or put him out of his misery, I think, with the options.
yeah, and
I
if you do, like I saved him, and it's cool
Yeah.
because he shows up in 3.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, in the
I think it's
academy.
Jack's. Yeah,
Yeah.
because he actually makes like a comment about like the square root of whatever, and
Yeah.
then I'm like, holy shit, that's awesome! I was like,
My buddy.
yeah, like you're still alive. Holy shit! I mean, granted, you have Jack as like your protector, so you should be
Yeah.
fine. But I thought that was just awesome. Like I thought that was super cool. Another character that I don't feel like got enough, and I feel like it's Samara. It,
Yeah.
like I wanted to know more about what the Justicars are and all
Mm.
that because they're basically the paladin class, and like I wanted to know more about them, but I with only one Justicar, I wish there would have been a second.
Yeah, and then there was that whole thing of trying to find one of her daughters who was the what is it? Ashat
Ashat
something.
Yakshi or something like
Yeah, that
that.
was it. Yeah.
Good
I mean
job,
that
brain.
was quite interesting how all of her daughters were those things. And
Oh
you had to
yeah,
try and find one of them. And then there was that moment where you could choose between Samara and the daughter, whatever the fuck her name is. That was really interesting.
yeah.
But yeah,
I
they
chose yeah. I know because if you do, you kill Shepard. Like if you
oh
choose
yeah.
the daughter, and I was like, yeah, I don't want to do that. And like, besides, I liked Samara. Like
Mm.
she's cool and she's got all this like wisdom and all this stuff, and I'm like, I want to learn about it. But like her little romance thing itself, yeah, don't do it because it comes off as super creepy now.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, because like just Shepard just keeps on pushing, and she's like, no, no, like I don't think it's a good idea. You know, you're
God.
badass, and I could literally like yeet you out this window. Like, oh man, yeah. I was like, the more I play it back, um, it's kind of yeah, it's kind of pushy, and I was like, yeah, that's kind of weird. But then I was like, well, I would never do that because I'm not gonna lie, I always end up choosing Tally because she's like the best romance
Yeah.
option. She's
Yeah.
adorable. Like, I also kind of like loved her side mission where like they were gonna like her and her father and learning about him
Oh
trying to
yeah, yeah. Like
so
he gave away tech or something, or something about the Geth.
right. I have to get back. Keep up the great work. Hope I can jump in the next one with you, Dsars. After all, I'll catch you later. All right, dude. Have a good one. I'll probably I don't know rip on you later or something. But no, and that's the thing with like between Samara learning about the Justicars, because now I felt like I was like the matriarchs, and then I'm like, oh, there's the Justicars. Are they above what the matriarchs are, or
Yeah.
like they're like a side thing? And it's like, oh, they're like warriors, and I'm like, why have I not seen more of them?
Yeah.
Like this
Well,
feels
aren't there only like a couple of them because they're like some super special secret religious operatives or something?
yeah, I think so. I just wish we would have met more of them. And I kind of wish is they don't really explain why they became Adakyakshis. I don't think.
I
Um,
think it had something to do with if you have a pure blood Asari kid, there's a high chance of them becoming that
mhm.
or something.
Well, and that also leads to like I'm not gonna lie, like one of the most for me it was one of the most scariest moments in Mass Effect and any of them, and that is the scream of the banshees the first time you hear them,
Yeah.
and like because it was cool seeing like the other like Reaper versions of
Mhm.
them,
Those
except
things
for the
fucking
Batarians.
suck
Oh no,
to
they do
fight on
like.
hard on, insane mode. Oh my
And like the fact
goodness.
that they're almost like kind of phasing as they're, and I'm like,
Mhm.
oh, I'm gonna die.
Yeah.
Like they're huge too. Holy cow, they just like
Yeah.
tower over Shepard. I'm like, yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Like they had me very uncomfortable.
They had me
Like,
very uncomfortable until I saw that they got little boobies.
yeah,
And then I was like, "Haha, boobies," and then I could never take them seriously after that.
that's fair. Like, no, and I think that was what I loved with like because as enemies, they were super, super, super fun
Yeah.
to go up against. Unless you're playing with the Vanguard, because it's just like
Yeah.
Vanguard just destroys them.
Well,
um,
no, it was really difficult because Vanguard is quite close combat, but you don't wanna go close to them.
mm, they can,
And yeah,
yeah.
like
It's the only thing if I would have like with the fourth one, the only thing I would really love is one to be able to play as obviously other races would
yes.
always be
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah.
Playing as other races, you can keep the same classes. That's fine by me.
Mm.
But I think
Yeah.
the classes, although I would give each one a specific class, like one special one just for them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But
I get it. Yeah. Um, I I want them to take a step back and stop trying to make the game like as big an open world as possible, like they did with Andromeda. Just keep it to a couple of like what they did with 1, 2, and 3, like a couple of main hub worlds. You know, you can do things in the galaxy, but it's not completely open world with just loads of fetch quests and collect 5 of these relics, collect 2 of these things for no apparent reason. If they just keep the missions and side quests all relevant to something narrative in the story. I guess like this is where we can go into like Baldur's Gate 3 maybe, because every single little side quest, little mission, or little curiosity that you could find didn't seem like a chore to me. It wasn't just some go kill 10 of these monsters and come back to me, or like they had something narratively that either advanced someone's story or advanced a world building and something, or it was just like an interesting little lore thing that you could find out. If
right.
they do something like that for the next Mass Effect, then they can really redeem themselves after Andromeda.
No, exactly. And I think another thing. Oh, cat.
Oh yeah.
Another thing I think would be really interesting too would, and this is what something that Baldur's Gate 3 did do that I don't think Mass Effect actually did as much,
Mm,
and that is the whole like the choices need to have more narrative weight.
yeah. Yeah.
Like there's not really much narrative weight in a lot of your choices in Mass Effect,
Mm,
but in
mhm.
Baldur's Gate there's a, even just in the beginning when it's like,
Yeah.
the druids or the tieflings, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
that's a lot of weight, a narrative weight. And if you are like, oh man, well I'll team with the druid, and they just slaughter the tiefling, and I'm like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't like this anymore. Like, you know. um but and I think
Or
that's what's gonna show.
yeah, and like just like I tried to start an evil run of Baldur's Gate on as Dirge. I think I got to that point and I was like, I know I'm gonna have to make the choice. I can't do it. I
I
can't do it.
I can't either, and it's because even talking to them,
Yeah.
like you're like, oh man, they have like all these little like talking, watching them like talk with the young, little
Yeah.
younglings and stuff, and
And
I'm
just in
like,
your head, just like I'm gonna have to kill them. Aren't I?
I'm like,
I'm just gonna have to.
I'm not evil enough for this. Like I can't do this. So like making myself like, I'm gonna go kill the goblins. And then you go
And,
talk to Minthar, and I'm like, no.
and they say that games make people violent.
Right.
We
Well
can't
then,
even make the bad choices because it makes us cry.
oh no, exactly. And that's the thing, it's like even when like I loved how they all feel like all the characters feel like actual characters, even the
Mm.
side ones that shouldn't matter. So when you know, when the goblins have the gnome around the windmill.
Yeah.
Like, I'm like, that is terrible. Carry on.
And then if you save him, he pops up throughout the whole of the game. Like little things like that.
Just yeah. I mean, and just like with Mass Effect, the cast they have for characters wise for Baldur's Gate is also
Mm.
just amazing.
Yeah.
Um, honestly, I'm gonna say probably the one I found the most interesting was Lae'zel. Like
Yeah.
I found the Gith Yankee, because I don't know what a Gith Yankee is, but I love talking to her because I love learning about what the Gith Yankees are.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Oh yeah, we lay eggs," and I'm like, "I'm sorry, you do what?" Like,
And then have you seen how big the eggs are? They're
right? And I'm just like, they're like,
fucking
"We
huge.
have our queen, and they lay eggs," and I'm like, "How big is the queen?" Because like your other queen is like a big hologram monster. So
Yeah.
like,
Does she lay the eggs?
yeah, I was like, how to like I want to know, but I don't want to know. Like, do the queens just like die on giving birth? Like,
Yeah.
and then I loved how I also like I said she's the like the tsundere version of like Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy. Because it's so funny. Like she takes
Excellent.
everything literal.
Yeah.
Like she's just like, oh well, you don't sleep it off. We don't need sleep. Okay, so we have a badass over here.
Yeah.
Like, but I love how like when you really start thinking about it, she's afraid. You know what I mean?
Mm, yeah.
She's scared. She doesn't want to be like. She wants to be, in the group. I don't believe she's part of that of the
Mm.
Yankees. And
Well,
so
yeah, like their whole thing is like a massive hate for illithids, and
mhm.
she is potentially going to become one, and that must just be really hard for her, especially like the betrayal of when she tries to get like cured
Oh,
there.
that's a scary moment.
Mm,
Like, that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people like what was it when I first watched it was like, oh, Shadowheart was a lot of people's favorite, and I'm like, I
mm.
don't fucking like her. Like, I was like, I don't
She
find her.
starts out very hard to get
Yeah,
along with, yeah, but when you do start to warm to her, she does get very nice and very pleasant.
yeah, and I think same with like she doesn't have that same off like Astrian when he comes off, and I'm like, dude, I love Astrian. Like, um, and I love like when you meet the vampire hunter or whatever.
Oh,
And
yeah,
he's just
and
like,
if you
oh,
have him in your party, he's just standing there like,
like,
uh
no, I would be too, though. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like, yeah, we're gonna go and we're gonna go and kill off all the vampires, and I'm like,
So we're looking for a vampire around
huh,
here named Astarion. Like, oh,
let's.
Astarion, have you seen Astarion anywhere?
Yeah, have you seen him? No, my name's Astarion with two A's and an extra R. So like,
Uh,
what up, darkness? It's been a oh my god, look at that face. How's it going, my guy? And I love that. Like I loved, Gale was one that I wasn't super thrilled on right away, but he was like, this guy's just a nice dude. He's
I
just a
liked
nice
him.
guy.
Like,
Yeah.
he was very, very nerdy, very bookish. He is quite funny and quite dry and sarcastic.
Oh, he's
Um,
yeah. He's got that
I
Marvel
liked all
humor.
of his little comments that he made.
He's
Just
kind of a dick a little bit.
yeah, kind of a bit of a dick sometimes,
Whether
but
you like, and that's what I loved about it too. I loved Gale just for that. I don't use him as much. Haslin, I'm really excited.
Halcyon, yeah.
I'm
I
excited to use finally. He's a fucking beefcake.
I
Oh my
know.
god!
I think I used him once, and that was it.
Like
Yeah.
when was it Kaga or Kaga? I don't remember the druid lady
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
when she's like just like gonna go kill a child, and then Haslin comes in and basically just gives her the stern talking to, and she's like,
Yeah.
"Yes, master." And I'm
This
like,
is what you wanted.
yeah, right. No, I didn't say to kill a child. It actually says in the handbook, but and I'm like, as soon as I saw her, and she's like, "We do things my way," and I'm like, "Oh, I know. I used to work with someone like you."
Mm.
Like nobody liked her. He's like, the weather is getting weird outside. How so? Are there fire tornadoes? Because it's not weird unless there's fire tornadoes. I saw a movie one time about yeah. It was like one of those like B-rated horror movies, about like a tornado that ran over like a factory or something and then became a fire tornado. And they're like, we have to run away from it. And I'm like, said nobody. um, but no, like when I look back, because then yeah, you get into like Karlach, and Karlach's like, dude, we're just gonna go fuck shit up. And I'm like,
Yep,
yeah, we're gonna go fuck shit up.
yep.
Like, I was like, I'm totally fine with this.
I
Like,
always allow her to just destroy that place that those fake paladins were in. After you kill them, you're like, yeah, you can go smash, and she's just like, ah, just
oh,
setting fire to the whole place. Like, everyone out, everyone out.
what's really funny is because at the time she had a crossbow. So if you do that, she'll say, yeah, absolutely. But she'll only use what weapon she has available.
Oh,
So she's just firing with this crossbow and it's like doing nothing.
yeah,
And
that's
so when
not
she
really a
leaves,
big
she's like,
stress.
oh, that felt so great. And I was like,
You did
I just
it.
lost like 8 arrows.
Can you go back and get them? Yeah.
Yeah. So like, but yeah, if you have her with her axe, or she's just slamming stuff, and I'm just like,
Mm.
okay, like I'm gonna dip now, Because
Yeah.
like I like using because like my first playthrough was with the druid,
Mm.
which has been fun. But then I chose an orc fighter,
Okay. Yeah.
and that's been fighting is like the fighter class, barbarian class they're so broken. I know the paladin
I know
classes
they are
too, but
very strong.
they're extremely strong. And I think it was funny because like I so I ended up romancing Lae'zel, right?
Hmm.
And there's a moment there where she's like, "Oh, we need to fight," and I'm like, "Okay, you know, to show that you're actually worth my time." And I'm like, "All right, let's do this." You know, like whatever. So like she hit me 4 times before I was able
Did,
to make my first
I was
move.
gonna say, did she wipe the floor with
Oh,
you?
she absolutely did. So you know, it's funny because my characters needs to be like saved, but the the whole romance thing keeps going off, you know, and
Mm.
you have this whole kiss and all this stuff, and then she leaves, and I'm like, oh, awesome, that's great. And then they came back to my character again. He's still just laying there, and I'm like, so was that all in his head? He's just like, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. But I think what it just cracked me up. But then, like, what I love about it too, and I'm actually gonna go back to Lae'zel because, like, I'm like that's what I'm like a simp for Lae'zel. Like,
Oh my god.
like, yeah, it's like her, Astrian, and I'd say Karlach are like
Mm.
the ones that I like to travel with the most. Will's cool too. I have to admit, Will's pretty dope as well.
Yeah.
But the ones I like to travel with the most, and I think it's only because of the fact that I feel like in like an actual group, these would be the most fun people to be around.
Yeah.
Like,
Not whether they're the most like useful group to all have. They're just the
no,
funniest
like
you
I
can have.
use
Yeah.
like if I have a use my group, I usually have Karlach, if with my orc fighter, me,
Mm.
Lae'zel, and usually they're Astrian
Hmm.
or Gale because I'm not gonna lie, like it's nice to have a healer,
Yeah.
but holy fuck, like Shadowheart can't hit worth shit.
I know.
Like, okay, I'm not the only one who feels this way. Like, I'll
Yeah.
just like go throw a fireball, and I'm like, are you left-handed or something? And you're just purposely missing, like,
Ignis.
yeah. And I'm like, oh,
I think
uh,
it's something to do with it scales off of an ability that she doesn't have good stats in. I can't remember what it was.
because she's a
Um,
cleric, and I'm like, there's no reason for her to be a cleric.
there is a reason for her to be a cleric, yeah, because her whole Shah business, she's dedicated herself to Shah. Um,
Any god that ends up like giving you like the bad burn, you really probably be starting to second guess it.
I think it's kind of like she grew up into it, so she grew up indoctrinated into it and didn't really know of any different, and thought that that
True.
was probably just how everyone treats everyone.
You know, and that's the thing. Like, I know you can get Minthara. There's like a way to get Minthara, despite the
Yeah,
fact. And so I'm doing that right now because I was like, "Can I get Minthara?" So I looked up just to see if it's possible, and I was like, "Yeah, but you have to do it in a really specific way."
yeah. If you want to do a good run, you can still do it, but
I took all her shit too. Like after I beat Minthara and then took all her shit.
oh, I left her in her underwear, of course.
Yeah. Oh, I know. I took everything and then I just like,
Yeah,
gave it to someone else. I was like,
like, oh, those clothes are nice.
yeah, I'll just take those. Then like after you long rest, and she's like, oh, she's standing there like ready to fight you, and I'm like, I mean, I guess like it's so like you whip the shit out of her a second time, and she's just laying there unconscious, and I'm like, now I'm starting to feel like an asshole. Like,
Oh god.
but I mean, she's not too tough. It's when you get to like the shadow area with like the like over where like Moonrise Towers is.
Yeah,
That's when things start getting scary. I'm not
I
gonna
really
lie.
liked that because it made you just have to think like tactfully of what you're gonna do. You know, who is gonna hold a torch, who's gonna cast like light, even if you have it. You actually start to like look for some of your weapons that you can actually use.
Mm.
I really liked that
Well, and they don't
part.
give you a whole lot of enemies. I noticed either.
Mm,
Um, During that path, there's not a whole lot. The one thing that did really make me sad was seeing some of the dead tieflings
yeah,
because they realized that not all of them made it. And
yeah.
then because I'm like, they're like really nice people. Like
I
I actually like
know.
the tieflings, and I'm like, oh, I mean, you guys, yeah, you guys, look like you'll eat my heart, but
Hmm.
I know deep down you guys have hearts too. Like,
I
and
think
so,
I think I managed to save every tiefling, like all of the main ones that you actually can speak to. But
mm,
I didn't get the achievement at the end, and I realized because one of the harpers in the Last Light Inn, even though they weren't one of the tiefling refugees, and it was one of the harpers, he died, and apparently that counts to one of the tieflings dying. So I was like, oh, you
that
fucking.
sucks. Oh, that would piss me off. I'd be like, well, fuck
Hmm.
this. No,
Yeah.
and I liked when you got there and like the little pixie or whatever,
Oh yeah,
and
yeah,
she's like, "Are you gonna let me out of here?" And I'm like, I really don't know.
yeah.
I'm
They.
like, but if you let her out, she gives you that whole like underneath you or whatever. She gives you the spell.
Yeah, yeah. So you don't have to, you can actually carry your weapon instead of holding the moon
Oh
lantern.
yeah, it's like there's no way you can say no to it because it's
Yeah,
such a valuable thing.
yeah. And like,
I love she's
I
such a bitch
really,
to you too.
I know. Like, I really liked that because she gives no meaning for you to ever let her out. Like, you need this moon lantern to get through this place. She acts like a bitch to you. She's constantly screaming at you. Why would you ever let her out? The only reason I let her out is when I didn't need it anymore, when the shadow curse had not lifted, but when it had lessened, when you free Night Song and everything, she goes around.
Mm.
So I was like, oh, okay, I don't really need this anymore. And that's the only time I let her out. But then obviously I didn't need her protection anymore.
No, and I love that whole protection thing too, because yeah,
Mm.
she's such an asshole to you right away. I
Let
mean,
me
if
out,
I was,
you munting
but,
asshole.
but I mean, I don't blame her when she's been like probably sitting in that little like lantern thing for how
Hmm.
long,
Yeah.
and
And then
like,
if you break into, I can't remember his name, the necromancer's quarters, you find in a secret door there's like loads of dead pixies and lanterns. So he's like been trying to
mm,
make them into moon lanterns, or maybe they were spent or something. I don't know. But it
it's
kind of,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's like, did you at the when you get to the uh, what is it? There's the mission where you have to find this lady or whatever, but like there's this big fat dude that's like drinking beer or whatever it is.
Oh yeah, I can't remember his name, but he
Oh
has
yeah,
has that
and
like
always keep
blue
us. I
blue
really
goo.
do always keep Astarion just because of his perception checks and
Oh
like
yeah,
in
yeah,
terms of like talking your way out of stuff, he's amazing.
yeah.
Which makes sense. I mean, you just listen to him talk and you're like, oh my god, you're just great. Like when you're in the party, when you're in the little camp party thing or
Mm,
whatever, and he's like, "Oh, I just want to do something, some more extra." I'm
yeah.
like playing dominoes, like we're talking about dominoes. He's like, "I'm talking about sex." Oh,
Yeah. It's
well, I
like,
was
oh.
talking about dominoes. Like we're on two different wavelengths. Like,
Oh,
but it is just a really fun game. I'm not gonna lie. Baldur's Gate is
they
absolutely
just
fantastic.
everything about it. They've really just showed kind of the effort that people used to put into games.
Hmm.
Um, and, like, I don't know what happened. Well, actually, no, I know what happened. People just wanted to put less effort into something to make even more money to pump them out. But like, I really hope it gets other game studios to think like, oh shit, maybe if we do actually try, then we can actually make a good product that in turn will net more money because more
I
people will
hope
buy
so
it and more
too.
people will constantly keep buying it afterwards.
No, exactly, and I do agree. It is kind of crazy because just playing it, and you can feel like a lot of love and passion
Oh
that
yeah.
went into that game. Like,
Yeah.
and that's how it should be. Like, it's funny because when I go back to play Spider-Man 2,
Mm.
and sorry for all the fanboys out there, but your Spider-Man 2 didn't win anything. Anyways, but like the thing that got me was that it felt very safe. It felt like it doesn't feel like it was like trying to go for the gold, right?
Yeah.
It felt
Yeah.
like it was like, well, we do what we like,
Mhm.
and we'll just keep on it.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, like going back to kind of replaying it, I feel that more.
Mhm.
But like with something like Baldur's Gate, you can tell they took a big risk out of it.
Oh my god, so many things, yeah. And
And
just I just
also the
I
character customization is so much fucking fun.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you'll spend like a whole 2 hours just sitting there just being like, all right, well, I want my eyeball to look like this and my other one to look, and then I realized that the hag will like can like pull your eye out, and I'm like, wow, there goes my purple eye.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I liked that one.
Yeah, 'cause you can actually get both eyes pulled out. I think if you do the Hags one first and then do Volo's,
Yeah.
but I can't remember.
I
I
think
haven't
it'd be
tried that
funny that
before.
like the whole game just turns pitch black.
Yeah.
Why'd you do this? I don't know.
We don't
Like,
need eyes where we're going.
yeah, right. Where are we going? That's a
I
really
don't
good.
know.
Oh no. But I think, yeah, I loved the fact of like the hag wasn't actually that bad either.
Mm,
I thought the hag was going to be worse. Um, it was also really creepy that like when you find out it's the hag and like the whole environment changes,
yeah, that
and
was really
then
cool.
you realize that the woman was ready to sacrifice her child
Yeah,
in
yeah.
order to like get her
So,
husband back, and I'm
yeah.
like, whoa, no, like your brothers are, oh, they're dead.
Oh, yeah,
Like,
they're dead.
oh, they're dead. Like, oh, that sucks. But yeah, she's actually not that difficult to take out though either. I think it's funny that like when you knock her out, like you don't kill her, but she's just laying there. Like just I'm like, so do we kill her? Like do I just keep kicking her?
I killed that bitch
Like,
each
hey, wake
each
up.
playthrough.
Like, oh yeah, no. Well then I wanted to kill the girl too, because like I was like the fact that you're just willing to give up your child
Yeah.
for like basically just some dick. And just, like,
But your dead husband,
yeah.
when you revive him, he's still dead.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we're gonna be together. He's just like, ugh. Like, yeah, no one thought of this one, did you?
Yeah.
I think, and honestly, there's a little funny. I mean, the fact that like when the troll, you meet those three trolls,
Oh,
and like
yeah.
one of them is actually like fully like actually like really intelligent, and I'm like, why can't he join my party?
Yeah.
Or
I
you
think
meet the troll and the fucking owl or the beast thing that's like slamming in the fucking.
Oh, yeah.
I remember like, oh my dog, don't come in here. Open
I'm gonna
the
go in.
door. Yeah, like, I'm gonna go. Oh Jesus! Like, you're like freaking out, and it's like, are you all right? No, I'm just gonna shut this. I'm just gonna shut this.
Oh, that's so funny.
Can I join?
Oh, God. Also, when you do fight them, you then realize that there was a dead body, like, right under where they were banging, so it's just like, "Oh, yeah, no, I'm kinda glad that they
It's all
killed you."
the subtle things. Well, like there's that girl in the beginning. Okay, so after you leave to go to the goblin camp, before you leave, you gotta go up onto like this little hill thing because she's about
Mhm.
to get. She has like a telescope or whatever, and she's about to get attacked by I don't know, one of those like beast kind of things.
Oh, the bugbears.
Yeah, she's about to get
Yeah.
attacked by one, but I was able to kill the first time I was able to kill it, and then the second time I forgot and she died.
Yep. Yeah,
But
I think second time I was just milling around the area, and then I heard, like, some, I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" Like, "Oh, it's this hill." And went up
yeah,
and
like
she was dead.
even in the beginning when like you meet the little halfling and all, they're like, little, oh, we're pirates, blah blah blah, and I'm like, get the fuck out of here. They're like,
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
okay, I guess I'll go. And I'm like, wow, that was disappointing.
I
But
don't
like when
think
they
I've ever got to that bit and actually fought them. I've always been able to get them away somehow.
they're yeah, I ended up fighting them the first time, but they weren't too bad. And then like I love how everyone's like, you're a true soul. I don't know what that means. Doesn't matter. You're a true soul now. Like,
It doesn't matter, you are one.
yeah, it's like I did do the bit where you fight with the Gith Yankee or whatever. And
Oh,
like
in the crash. Yeah.
yeah, because you like talk to the queen, the Valketh, Also,
Vlaakith.
I always wonder too, like, okay, so I always wonder if like is Lazelle speaking in her native tongue, and then I'm guessing this like the in English is what she's saying. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Because
it is hard.
then she speaks,
Things like
she'll
that,
speak
yeah.
normal, but then she'll be like something in Githyankian, and like I just see like when I see like Gith Yankees, like she's got like a big old like trucker hat and shit, just like America like in the back. But you know, it's always interesting because like I absolutely like kick the shit out of the lady or whatever. They're actually kind of tough. I'm not gonna lie.
Mm,
Because
yeah.
there's that one lady, that one Githyanki lady that will like block your spells, and I'm just like, who the fuck you
Uh,
think you are?
and
Like,
then they, like, parry everything and
yeah, it's like
just, like,
they
zero
are
damage, 0
in
damage,
terms
like,
of
you
warriors, they are not easy.
yeah, they're pretty
And like,
fucking
there's the
great.
one, there's the one boy, Githyanki, that's just like, yo, why are we doing this? And the guy's like, "Hey,
Yeah.
don't say no to me, boy." And he's like,
Stab,
"You
stab,
go,
stab.
yeah, stab him." And I'm like, "I don't wanna." But I stabbed, and actually, he dropped to like 1% or 1 health, and then I saved him. And I'm like, "All right." He's like, "Oh, well, I just don't want to. I don't want to do this anymore." And I'm like, "Cool. Now I want you to walk out there and tell them you do it again. Just
Mm,
leave." Like,
yeah.
but no, like I think I'm really excited to like get like Minthara because she seems like she'd be a powerhouse.
I don't
Like
even know what class she
she's a
is.
paladin.
Oh,
So I'm
okay.
like, okay, yeah. I was like, okay, cool. That sounds dope actually. Like her being a
Yeah.
paladin sounds really cool. I was gonna do one as like a dwarf or like a halfling.
Mm.
I can't get myself to play as a halfling. And I'm just
I
like, oh,
know,
you're just
it is quite funny.
like it's like you're so small and like
In the multiplayer game I'm playing, we started this when it first came out with my friends, and we've only just got to the lowest city in Act 3.
oh my gosh.
Well, just there's 4 people all trying to get your schedules together to play
Oh
through
yeah,
it,
that's hard.
and I think I was the only one that had a regular 9 to 5, 5-day-a-week job. One of them has, like, a like 1 in the morning to whatever time, and one of them just has a whenever he has a freelance contract, and
Oh.
um but one of them is a halfling.
Mhm.
He's a halfling bard, and it's
Oh
just
my
so
god.
funny, just like because his intimidation is quite is quite good.
Really?
Of just this little halfling bard that has to look up at everyone with his little lute on his back, just imagining him being
I
intimidating,
will fuck
and
you
like,
up.
yeah, I will fuck you up,
Like,
and like people have to crouch down to him as well, and just the romance scenes are quite funny as
oh,
well.
I can only imagine the
Yeah.
romance scenes. They did look really funny though, because I saw a couple of them where like I think it's like Shadowheart has to like kneel all the way down, and I'm
Yeah.
just like, oh, like she's willing to
I
bend the knee for you.
Oh, what about a halfling with Halcyon? Because Halcyon's fucking huge
just,
anyway.
just picks them up and walks off. I
Just
just
use
thought
him as a
about
fleshlight.
the hell or health thing. I
Sorry.
think no, I just that's fucking great. No,
Uh,
I think one of the funniest would that or Karlak. Because I feel like Karlak would be the one to just like pick him up under her arm and just walk off. Like, where are we going? You know where we're going. Okay.
please.
Like, just drink this. What is it? Like, but
Oh,
no, like I feel like it'd be like as a halfling that intimidates is just fucking hilarious. It would be like the only time that would work if it's like the halfling has like a very strong like mom voice, where it's like no
yeah.
matter how bad the evil the villain is, like I'm gonna kill. Don't yell at me.
Stop
puts
that.
he like puts the axe down, like starting to feel bad. Like,
Yeah.
I didn't want to fight you guys anyways. Like, and I think I love that. I love those. And then I saw a couple of them where it's like, like when you do your checks,
Mm,
and it's like, oh, okay, it's not bad. 30 is the requirement, and I'm like, oh,
yeah.
okay, well, fuck me.
Oh, dude, there was one of those. And like I didn't have to roll again or anything. I didn't have any inspiration to roll again or anything. Just a natural 20 on the first roll. Just casually. Just like, oh,
Like,
okay.
just I got a one, and anytime it's so funny because your whole demeanor in that game really changes on the dice roll.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Yeah.
going to no, that's cool because I got some classes, certain classes and all that. We're gonna put like a +6. All right, all I need is like a 5. What do you mean I got a -4? Like, oh, okay, that's fine. Like I
Yeah,
didn't I
no.
didn't need to talk to that guy anyways. So fuck him. Like,
I know I know it's not the most accessible of games to people that don't really know kind of how tabletop RPGs work, but they've done such a good job kind of getting it so that anyone could play it.
yeah. Well, and they
Because like
give you
the lucky thing for me is that I play Dungeons and Dragons and other tabletops, so I know how it works. I know like how the stats work. I know what
mm,
classes need what as their spell casting power or whatever. But for people that have no idea, it is a bit daunting at first. And I
it
think
is.
maybe it does take a whole playthrough to probably get the hang of it. But I've
Mhm.
known so many of them to just keep sticking with it, doing the first playthrough, and now when they're playing the second playthrough, they are enjoying it so much more.
No, exactly. And that's the thing is, one of the things I will say is when I was playing, it was a lot.
Mm.
But one thing I'm really happy with is how they're like, hey, we got the tutorials. We have a lot of tutorials. You honestly just have to read it.
Mm.
Like you
Yeah.
just have to read it. Um, even on like with the charisma,
Mhm.
intelligence, they tell you exactly what they are. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But they also still let you kind of figure it on your own. If you want to build you know, a gnome, like a gnome warlock, then
Mhm.
fuck yeah, you can do that. You
Yeah.
know,
And I
um,
think a lot of people as well. I know some people will say, like, "Oh, that doesn't make a good game," but a lot of people need to realize it's not a fast-paced game. You are meant to take your time with it. You are meant
mhm.
to, think about what kind of character you want to be, stroll through slowly a place. It's not just all action and fighting.
Well,
You take it
exactly.
slow.
Well, and like a lot of games too are this kind of like mind-numbing pace.
Mm,
It's either got to be flashy stuff right in front of your face, or it's
mhm.
just they're just not interested.
Yeah.
And the thing with it is the fact that you have to take time to actually learn a bit of it.
Yes,
Um,
yeah.
but even the funny thing is, even in games I've played, like well, they have an easy mode. They do have an easy mode. Like
Mhm.
Explorer is easy. That's what actually I
Yeah.
play on because I like delving into the world and stuff. Like
Mhm.
I'll bump it up to like a higher difficulty eventually, but right now I'm
Yeah.
just having fun exploring what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and even on Explorer, like if you start playing super laxical and stuff, you can still lose.
Mhm. Yeah.
That's what happened to me where I was like, man, I actually have to still sit there and I still have to think about it. It's still a strategy. It's still strategy at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't think people have this kind of like patience to go and do it.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's the part that bothers me like a little bit because you
Yeah.
can't, you can't shit on a game when you're purposely playing it wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, people just don't alter their brain to be like, "Okay, this is a slower game. I need to go slower."
Mhm.
Um,
And it that's the only real like not even like a knock on the game. It's just it's just how the player base is.
yeah.
When you look at Lebanon, like last year when Elden Ring came through,
Mhm.
and people were like, "Oh, Elden Ring kind of sucks because I don't know where I'm going," and blah blah. Blah. That's the fucking point.
That's
You're
yeah,
supposed to
just
figure it out.
go.
Like the
If you
more
if
you
you hit the
collect,
place where the sky is red, turn back.
yeah, yeah, no, like that's
Come back later.
it is crazy because like you got so many people who like the first thing they did was try to fight the tree sentinel, And I was like,
Mhm.
the tree sentinel, I'm like, for people, is there on purpose
Yeah.
to make you realize that you ain't top shit in this world.
Yeah.
And for a
Yeah.
lot of people, like I saw the big glowing knight and I walked around because I was like, yeah, no.
I mean, I was curious, so I kind of, like, peeked in a little bit, and
I
then as
went
soon
back
as he started
later.
facing me, he's like, "Nope, nope,
As soon as you tries
nope."
to turn to look, you're like, I'm just looking, man.
Yeah,
Like,
then the music starts, like, I am fucked.
oh yeah, like I'm just gonna get one of those little rolling sheep, just be like, sheep, help me. Like,
Yeah, just hide the amount of times I hid in that destroyed church.
yeah. Oh yeah, watch him charge at you, and you're like, ha ha, ha. You're just like flipping them off at the same
Yeah,
time. Like you
with the
can't.
the trader in there just like, "What the fuck? What's going
Trader's just sitting
on?"
there like, are you trying to get me killed? But no, and that's one thing that I would say is, when it comes to all different, there's so many different types of games that you kind of have to take each one of them as like an individual thing.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So, but uh, I know that's all I got for myself today. That was actually a little bit longer than I expected it was going to be.
Yeah,
No, but like that was my phone. Like,
that's alright. I was
but
dancing to it.
oh no, it's pretty dope, isn't it? But I used to. It's funny. I used to be like one where I would like set all different ringtones for different people.
For
So
different
like,
people, yeah.
yeah. So like, my mom's was like the Saw theme, and then like one of my friends was like Emerald Hill Zone.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, but then I started forgetting which one was which, so I said fuck it. Like
My phone is just always on vibrate. It has been for probably, like, 10 years.
it's funny because mine was always on like silent until like I would set it somewhere, then I'd forget. And then like
Mm.
I'd have my fiance be like, "Hey, call it," and then she'd be like, "Oh, call it. Why can't I hear it? Oh, I put it on silent." Like, but I was feel so dumb. But I appreciate you being on.
Alright.
Well, let you know that you're working on anything.
Am I
So
working on anything?
yeah,
Doing a little odd bits here, possibly starting a new channel. It's not gonna be podcast things, it's just gonna be, like, little informational clips, but I'm also thinking of, like, properly starting up my personal channel again,
do it.
yeah, with some gaming stuff. I mean, it's kind of just been, to be honest, I only started it really for, videos for my friends to watch.
Mhm.
Um, like playing horror games because some of them are, and also my family. I don't know if you I don't know if you want me to go into this, but
Oh, you can go.
there's a tradition in my family of them wanting to watch a horror, like someone play a horror game,
Hmm.
because they'd find a horror game that they're really interested in, but they're too scared to play it.
Mhm.
And I really fucking enjoy horror games, and I actually find them really fun.
That's awesome.
So they would always have me play a game. So I would go through it. They would crowd around the sofa with the lights off. We'd have food. When we were older, we'd have like beers and wine and everything, and I'd play a scary game for them.
That's
So
really cool, actually.
yeah, so I started a YouTube channel doing that, of just playing games that they wanted me to play. But
Mhm.
when I moved out from home, it was just harder for me to come back all the time. So I did a YouTube channel for it. And then it just kind of evolved into just me playing with my friends, and just filming our stupid things. So the things that we do, to be honest, I really just upload it for them to watch. And then if
No, that's
anyone
so
else
cool.
is interested in it. But yeah, I was working on some shorts of just like little funny shit that's happened in some of our games.
Oh, that's awesome,
Yeah.
though. That's cool. Like, I don't really have a tradition thing like that, but there is a lot. I mean, you have a lot of games to pick from, especially when it comes to horror games.
Oh yeah.
Like you've gone to the Dark Pictures ones.
Mm.
Have you gone to the Dark Picture?
Dark pictures.
So it's made by Supermassive, who did like Until Dawn and stuff.
Mm.
And like they are like almost like you kind of like choose your own like your path or whatever. So you get like 6 characters and you'll go through those 6 characters. It's a lot like a quick time event, those
Oh
kind of stuff.
yeah.
Yeah, they're really fun. Like,
I've never seen that.
yeah, I would recommend them because they go through and like I said, your choices determine the lives if they live or die.
Yeah.
They're one of those kind of games.
That's pretty
So
cool. Yeah.
yeah, I would recommend those. Scorpio played them. I was supposed to do another one with him. It's funny 'cause I got my fiance before we go. I got my fiance to play with me, and she got straight traumatized. Yeah, like one of the characters died because of her, and so
Yeah.
when it just died, like you can see they'll show like the light, like her,
Mhm.
like the pupils like dilating or
Oh my
whatever,
god.
and she just like stares. She's like, I'm like, you okay? She's like, yeah, yeah, I'm fine.
Oh my
Like, and I felt so terrible. I was like, oh my god, I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah.
But
My
was it worth it? Yeah.
yeah. My boyfriend is a screamer at horror games, like proper yelping, like hyperventilating, sweating. His heart's like. So I have to play games, scary games as well for him.
Like that is just for me, like I know like I'm not it's like, oh, I'm not scared. It's just unnerved. Like once
Mm.
that like I said, it's like the when I was playing Elden Ring and like the finger creepers,
Oh, fucking those things.
those scared me so bad I couldn't move. Like I just like I was just like I am so fuck no. Like
Yeah.
like like you just hit some trauma from like the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time.
Oh my god,
I'm like, why
yeah.
shadows of monsters and I'm like, the fucking
Yeah.
what? like, like, I'm sorry. Did you just say what I think you just said? And then like you see the little shadow underneath. When they made the remake for it
Mhm.
with on the 3DS or whatever, they had it so like the hand actually you see the hand over
Mm.
top.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
I
like the
remember
shadow, and I'm like,
I've got
that's
the 3DS one,
yeah, I was
yeah.
like, that's even fucking that's worse. That's
I
worse. I'm like,
really liked the zombies when you get into Hyrule Castle,
ooh,
'cause
yeah.
those were really fucking creepy. I loved those so much. Look up a
Going
video of them, they are great.
going into the bottom of the well. I could talk about the
Yeah.
Legend of Zelda all day. Like, but going into
We're
the
meant to be
bottom
stopping.
oh, I know. Going into the bottom of the well used to scare the hell out of me.
Yeah.
It is just like you drop in, and it's just like, yo, where the fuck am I? Like, I'm not I'm not a fan of this at all.
Mm.
But yeah, the scream when the zombies would scream,
Mhm.
and like I remember the first time I was like, I mean, I'm not scared, nothing. No, it's cool. Like,
Just
like,
trying to run and, like, dodge all of them, like, "Oh my
yeah,
god, oh my
right.
god, oh my god, oh my god."
It's like just dodge roll like Elden Ring, just rolling out.
Yeah.
You can outbeat anything. But I appreciate you being on.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Of course, as always. And for everyone else who are watching, I appreciate you all showing up as well. Be sure to check out my socials as well. I actually just hit 1,000 thousand
Woo!
on TikTok. Actually,
Nice.
I put one video up, and throughout the last 3 days, it's like I went from like 300 like followers to over 1,000.
Jeez, nice.
Yeah, and
Good job.
am I famous now?
Mom, I
So,
made it.
but yeah, I'm really excited. So I'll be doing some lives and stuff out there.
Cool.
But
Yeah.
alrighty, everyone. With all that being said, I'm Taylor from Afrofish OG. Thanks for coming to the stream, and I'll catch you all in the next one.